Welcome to Story Lane English. Today we retell the beloved fairy tale Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This classic story teaches us how kindness and courage can overcome jealousy and cruelty. Let's embark on this enchanting journey while improving your English skills. A beautiful princess. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by towering mountains and lush forests, a beautiful princess named Snow White lived with her stepmother, the queen. Snow White's beauty was not only in her rosy cheeks and hair as black as ebony, but also in her kind heart. She was loved by all who knew her, except for one person, her stepmother. The queen was vain and proud, obsessed with her own beauty. Every day she would stand before her magical mirror and ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror always replied, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." But as Snow White grew older, her beauty surpassed that of the queen. One day, when the queen asked her mirror the same question, it replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." A wicked plan. The queen's heart burned with jealousy. She could not bear the thought of anyone being more beautiful than her. In her rage, she ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. "Bring me her heart as proof," she demanded. The huntsman, however, could not bring himself to harm the innocent princess. "Run away, Snow White," he whispered, and never returned to the castle. Terrified and alone, Snow White fled deep into the forest. She wandered through the towering trees until she came upon a small cottage. Exhausted, she knocked on the door, but received no reply. She pushed it open and found a cozy home with 7 tiny chairs, 7 little plates, and 7 small beds. Snow White decided to rest in the cottage, lying across the beds. When the 7 dwarfs, who owned the cottage, returned from their work in the mines, they were surprised to find her there. Despite their initial shock, they welcomed Snow White warmly after hearing her story. "You can stay with us," said one of the dwarfs, "but be careful of your stepmother. She will not stop searching for you." Grateful for their kindness, Snow White stayed with the dwarfs, helping with chores and brightening their lives with her cheerfulness. The queen's schemes. Meanwhile, the queen discovered through her magical mirror that Snow White was still alive. Furious, she devised a plan to eliminate the princess herself. Disguised as an old peddler woman, she went to the dwarf's cottage with a poisoned apple. When Snow White opened the door, the queen offered her the apple, saying, "This is a gift for such a kind and lovely young lady." Trusting the old woman, Snow White took a bite. The moment she did, she fell to the ground, lifeless. A sleeping death. The dwarfs returned to find Snow White unconscious. They were heartbroken, believing she was gone forever. Unable to bury her beauty, they placed her in a glass coffin in the forest, where they kept watch over her. Word of Snow White's fate spread far and wide. One day, a prince who had heard of her beauty and kindness came to the forest. When he saw Snow White, he was struck by her grace and sorrowed by her plight. Overcome with emotion, he leaned down and kissed her gently. Love conquers all. The spell of the poisoned apple was broken by the prince's true love. Snow White opened her eyes, and the dwarfs rejoiced. The prince asked her to marry him, and she agreed, grateful for his courage and kindness. As for the queen, when she asked her mirror who was the fairest, it replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." Enraged, the queen's jealousy consumed her, and she fled, never to be seen again. The moral of the story: Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs reminds us that kindness, love, and bravery can triumph over jealousy and cruelty. It teaches us to stay true to our values, even in the face of adversity. Thank you for joining us on Story Lane English. Stay tuned for more enchanting tales that inspire and teach valuable lessons while helping you improve your English skills.